we know that homeostatic mechanisms usually involve negative feedback loops, but what about positive feedback loops? Well, many organisms actually use positive feedback loops to bring processes to completion. So while negative feedback loops dampen stimuli or oppose stimuli, positive feedback loops do the opposite. They amplify stimuli. And as you can tell from this diagram, instead of having a blocking symbol here, we have an arrow to indicate the amplification of the stimulus. So in humans, for instance, a positive feedback loop is used for childbirth. So as you can see from this diagram, the stimulus in childbirth comes from the baby's head, which presses against the cervix here. And this stimulates neurons in the cervix, which send a signal for the brain to release a special kind of hormone called oxytocin. Now, oxytocin is responsible for causing the uterus to contract, which, as you might have guessed, causes more pressure on the cervix, which sends more neural signals, which releases more oxytocin, and this loop continues on, all the way until the baby is born. So when the baby is born, because the baby's head isn't pressing up against the cervix and the pelvic floor anymore, the neuron stops sending the signal and the brain stops triggering the release of so much oxytocin. So that's how the loop will eventually come to an end. So to recap on what we've talked about, today we learned that organisms maintain their internal conditions through homeostasis. And this is usually accomplished through negative feedback loops, which dampen or oppose stimuli, as we talked about with thermoregulation and osmoregulation. But on the other hand, as we saw in childbirth, positive feedback loops work to amplify stimuli in order to bring processes to completion.